Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you see anybody else?
Yes, you're gonna ask me about your husband.
No.
No? Is it Lee? Is that how you say it?
Lee. It's Lee.
Yes.
Where are you from?
Well, we're from Atlanta, but right now we're in Florida.
Perfect. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you're here. And right away, when I'm connecting, your mother is here when I'm speaking.
Oh.
Because she kept saying to me, that's my daughter, that's my daughter. I just saw her literally right behind you when I'm connecting. So was that your mother as well?
Yeah. Yes, I'm the sister.
Perfect. Just making sure. Please know this is a message for both of you, because the moment I'm connecting with this woman, she first of all wants to apologize for all that you saw here in this world when I'm connecting with her.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you see anybody else?
Yes, you're gonna ask me about your husband.
No.
No? There's a man that's also here. Was that your husband that passed?
Well, my husband passed 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's been a long time. I was very young.
Oh, I don't care. Listen, it doesn't matter if you're 25 years ago. Your husband is still your husband on the other side. And I kept hearing husband that passed, and I kept hearing child that passed. Those two souls are here.
Her child passed.
Okay.
Her daughter.
Please know all those souls are here.
Oh, my goodness.
You guys don't give me a minute. Listen, all the souls are here. I have to get through one after the other. So please know that the one thing that your mom is acknowledging on the other side is this. She says to me, Matt, you need to let them know in spirit. She says that I am fine. She says, and even though the last few years of my life, because she keeps telling me 4 years, it took her 4 years as she was going through this with the fall and the healing and all these things. She says to me, Matt, she says, I loved my life, she tells me. And I didn't mind that it took so long. Your husband is also here. Because even though he passed after all of these years, I got to tell you something. The one thing that he tells me is this. He says to me, Matt, can you please let her know that I wish that I would have gotten to tell her how much I truly appreciated her? When I'm connecting with him, he tells me that before his passing, goes, Matt, I didn't know what I had. I didn't realize our love and our relationship with one another. And that's what he wants to say to you, because he keeps coming through and saying, I have to let her know I'm sorry.
Oh.
He says to me, Matt, he goes, I got to tell you, we had true love here in this world. I just didn't know it. He goes, and he wants to apologize because here in this world, he tells me that his moods were all over the place. And he shows me that his moods were up and down, up and down, up and down. Do you understand that? Mm-hmm. And even though you choose to remember the happy times with him, he says to me when I'm connecting, Matt, I feel so terrible because when I got to the other side, I realized that I didn't value her the way that I should have. Mm-hmm. He says to me that throughout his life, that you solved so many problems for him. And he tells me that he had a lot of issues with his family, he tells me. So he says to me this, from the time in which he had passed, he's been here and watching over you. And he says to me, please let her know that even though there might be times when she doesn't sense me or feel me, please let her know it doesn't mean that I'm not there. I am with her. And he's acknowledging that. And I know you're in another relationship after him because he says to me about another marriage he's talking about. Mm-hmm. So he says to me, she's so freaked out, Matt, and she doesn't know why I'm talking about this because you thought you could get rid of him. And you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute now, I'm already married. I have another person. Why is he coming through? And is he in the bedroom with us? I love it. Listen, let me tell you something. Your loved ones tell me what you're thinking, all right? If you haven't figured that out. He says to me this, he goes, Matt, he goes, this is why I'm coming through. He says to me that here in this world, he goes, I was never able to give her the love that she really deserved.
Oh, that's so sweet. He was good.
He says to me that he sees you having that love now in your relationship that you're in, because our loved ones can see that. He says, and Matt, I've never seen her so happy. He actually tells me, what the hell is with it? He goes, Matt, not only that, but they live a great lifestyle. He tells me you went on a cruise, and there's a cruise that you've all went on. He tells me you're loving the cruises. He goes, I see her in the islands and this and that. He's telling me, and he's laughing about that. Yeah. He says to me, listen, enjoy your life and know that I'm there and with you. He says, because he goes, I want you to have the same happiness that you gave me when I was alive. Right? And I also got to tell you, your daughter's also here, and she's here with your mother. And first of all, I got to tell you, there's questions over her passing and how she had died. Immediately, when I'm connecting with her, she says to me, Mom, I didn't tell you everything. And right away, when I'm connecting with her, I keep seeing that she had a lot of depression here in this world.
Yes.
I also see that she was battling a relationship here in the physical.
Yes.
And she tells me about a separation. So they were getting divorced or separated?
It was a new relationship and it was not a good long-term good one.
Okay. When I see a separation, your daughter is telling me this. Can I tell you everything?
Yes, please.
Your daughter is telling me when I'm connecting with her that here in this world, she was desperate to find love.
No.
She says, Matt, and I got to tell my mom one thing. I made a mistake. I should have listened to her, because literally she tells me that she stopped telling you things because she tells me that she always felt that you were critical of her. I'm not going to hide that. But she says to me, I know now that my mom just wanted the best for me. She says, and I was chasing after people that were not good for me. She shows me being in relationship after relationship after relationship when I'm connecting with her. And I see her being in relationships that were abusive when I'm connecting.
Yes.
Meaning that she loves them more than they loved her.
Yes.
And because of that, she says, Matt, I got hurt again and again and again and again. She says, and this just didn't hurt me. She says to me, I also allowed it to come between me and my mom. And for that, I want to say that I'm sorry, she says. Because I realize that you weren't critical of me. You just were trying to love me. She says, and you were trying to give me the right advice. She goes, it just wasn't the advice that I wanted to hear.
Right.
I also see when I'm connecting with your daughter that there was also pills involved here as well. So is she taking certain medications around certain medications before her passing?
Anxiety medication, yes.
All right. Know that that's one of the things that she's bringing up, because when I speak to her, she's showing me that at the end of her passing, she shows me her taking multiple pills. And when I see that, I'm telling you this for one reason. She was doing this because she was trying to numb herself here in this world. She says, Matt, I was going through pain every day. My anxiety was really bad. My depression was really bad. She says, I would feel all of these emotions and I would just want to cry and cry and cry. She says, so I used to take these pills, and it's weird because when I'm connecting with her, it changed the person that she was. Like your daughter used to be really vibrant, really high energy, really loud, really just a lover of life. And then I see her when she's passing and she was just like this, like just one tone, one pace at all times. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Your daughter says to me that she's sorry that you had to see all of that. She says, and Mom, she says, I got to be honest. This was something that you could not have helped me with. I had to go through this myself.
Yeah.
And that's what's so hard, because she tells me as her mom, you feel so guilty, and you feel like, because she tells me that you go over her passing again and again and again and again, and you go over her life and her choices and your decisions. And you're like, why couldn't she have seen that this one here did this and this one wasn't good for her and this one was this? And I warned her about all of these things. Your daughter says to me, I always had love from you. I always had support from you. I always had advice from you. Might not have been the advice that I wanted, but it was the advice that I needed. And at the end of the day, you fulfilled one role. You fulfilled the role of being my mom. She says, so the one thing that she wants to let you know is this. She says to me that throughout her life, she hid a lot of things from you because she was nervous. But somehow you always found out, she tells me.
Yes. Yes.
And your daughter tells me one thing. She says, Mom, she says, I am not angry with you. I'm not upset with you. And she's telling you this because, like I said, sometimes you go back and you say, how come she didn't tell me? Did she not trust me? Did she not do whatever? She's like, no. She says, I didn't want you to see how bad it had gotten. That's what she tells me. Because I wasn't proud of my life.
I know.
But I have to tell you one thing. You went through a really tough battle, because as much as your daughter went through hurt and pain, you also went through that same struggle because you felt what she went through every day. And you know that your daughter is telling me that the one thing that she's bringing through on the other side is that she has finally found peace in heaven. And she needs you to know that. Because here in this world, she had no peace. And that's what's so tough. She said, so please let my mom know that if I found peace in my heart on the other side, then she can find peace here in this world. And she's bringing that through. Your daughter knows how hard it is for you even to go back through pictures of her.
Yes.
She shows me that there's pictures that are tucked away that you won't look at, that you won't go through. There's even some things that people had sent you. I don't know if they were from your daughter or what it is, but I see things arriving that were connected to your daughter. And she says to me, Mom, you don't deserve this pain. There's also something else that's here that's very interesting. I keep seeing a baby that's lost.
Jesus.
I feel it was an abortion.
Yes, she had an abortion.
She said,
I didn't know about it until later.
I got to tell you something. That stuck with her whole entire life.
I know. Oh, goodness. I didn't know about this until she had passed. And I
You
found
didn't know
out.
about the abortion. You didn't know about the abortion. She's bringing this through. She said to me, that was one of the things that haunted me.
Right.
Because she shows me that throughout her life, she says, I thought about that child and I just saw your daughter step forward with that baby in her arms.
Oh, God.
Letting you know that she found her child on the other side. So she was hoping that you didn't find out about this because she said to me, Matt, I didn't want to disappoint my mom.
I know.
She says, but at the end of the day, I never disappointed her. I realized I just disappointed one person. She says, I disappointed myself. She says, because my whole life, I let people push me into doing things that I didn't want to do.
Yes, she
But
did.
she tells me this. This is her way of letting you know in spirit that she's with your mom. She is with that child and that she is watching over you every single day.
I feel it.
Yeah.
She says, so Matt, please tell my mom this is a weight that she can lift off her shoulders. She says, so even though it's been so hard for you, your daughter wants you to take the next step. She wants you to be able to heal. And she wants you to love and enjoy life, knowing that it is not a permanent goodbye. One day, the same way that your mother is there with your daughter and that child is there, one day you will see your daughter again. So please, when the time is right, okay, your daughter's making me make you promise that you're going to go through those pictures. That you're going to look back on her life and don't look back on sad memories, because I want you to know that your daughter is not sad now.